Hi, I'm Rich Hanson, and today I have with me Randy Teitloff, the Vice President of Research and Development at EBI. Last year we came to you with Hypershock technology and the introduction of it into the Columbia 300 brand. What Hypershock did in the outer core was it helped control how the ball went through the pins, how much energy was transferred to the pins versus being deflected. We had this demonstration for you last year. I'm going to show it to you again. This is a demonstration of Hypershock in the outer core. That's an example of a typical bowling ball. When it hits the pins, the energy stays with the ball and wants to deflect, just like it did with the bouncy ball. This is an example of a ball with Hypershock in it. As you can see, the energy is better transferred to the counter. So same thing with the bowling ball. The energy is transferred better into the pins, giving you better pin carry. Now with the brand new Columbia 300 Tyrant, we're taking it to the next level. We're putting it actually in the cover stock. Before we get into that, Randy, why don't you tell us about the typical reactive cover stock?
Reactives, by their nature, basically have a singular way that they express their performance. They basically will hit off the spot and they will start consuming the energy very quickly. And what we're doing with this Hypershock material is actually being able to control that energy to be able to distribute that more evenly and more continuous down the line.
Yeah, so we're going to maintain the power of a typical cup bowling ball, but we're going to give it more control than you generally see as well.
Yes.
Cool. So what do you have today here, Randy? I know you have this material you brought in.
Yeah, why don't you take a look and pick this up and kind of move it around. And kind of angle it towards the camera so that they can kind of see how fluid that is.
Yeah, it's very liquid. You know, I feel like, if I tip it too much to show them, I'll spill it everywhere.
Yeah, you're going to spill it.
Yeah.
All right, now set it down.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do now is I want you to take your fist and I want you to hit that as hard as you can.
Are you sure? You got to back up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm in the splash zone. Okay.
Yeah, you're in
Ready?
the splash zone.
All right.
Trust me, it'll work.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty sick. I mean, I expect that to splatter myself everywhere. And
Yeah.
got a little bit on my hand, but I mean, that stuff it was liquid when I tipped it over, but now it's very solid. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that with the Hypershock material added into the cover, you can impart two characteristic qualities in it, just like this example here is showing. Under stress, it behaves very rigid, but whenever there's no stress applied to it, it's very fluid, just like you saw when you rolled it around through there. And by adding Hypershock into the shell, we're actually able to impart two unique characteristics into there to be able to manipulate the ball's characteristic. And the key to that is energy manipulation.
Cool. I mean, I've thrown the Tyrant, and I tell you, it's one of the biggest hooking balls I've ever seen. But what's different about it is exactly what you're saying. It's how does it control its energy? You can get to the friction, and it doesn't just bounce off and go crazy and leave big splits. But I get up in the oil, and it doesn't want to overskid. It's just a constant, continuous, strong motion, and I can really see how it controls its energy as it rolls down a lane, which is very unique and different than other bowling balls.
Right. It's really exciting now to have the Hypershock in the core to be able to express that energy between the ball and the pin. But it's even more exciting now that we actually have added this to the cover and actually have manipulated the energy signature as the ball goes down the lane, so we can actually change performance characteristics in ways we've not seen before in bowling balls.
Now, I know this is cool and unique and different, and I know we're continually pushing the envelope with technology. I can't wait for you guys to try the Tyrant, and Randy, I can't wait to see what else you got in the future coming to us.
We're pretty excited about what's going on here and the tools we've got to work with and play with, and you're going to be excited to see what you're going to see out of the Tyrant when it comes out, and some of the neat stuff that we've got in works for the future.
Perfect.